Here it is not a museum, in the phrase to cut through the air like a slap. It was echoed at the hallway of the fair, the technology, including the lights, neon, giant screens, and the people that you pretended not to hear but to listen to them. The whole world came to a halt, and then came the laughter. Enjoy it. Dry. Created just for you. I was there with a camera in my channel in your hand, in the middle of the booth, the most expensive of the event. I saw the Lord and freeze. The outfit simple. The shoe is worn. Hand marked by the kind of work that is never shown on stage was none of them. He was stopped in front of a prototype of the children staring at him. That machine is like the one who sees something that makes me remember them. And now he was the target. The display will still maintain a smile of mockery, as if he had just put someone in the right place. The surrounding people laughed, some of them. Others diverted your gaze to the one relief that it's gross for those who think, it's good that I'm not the one. I have seen the face of the Lord to stay in the property. It was not a shame. He was not afraid. It was a quiet, heavy, those who seemed to hold back an explosion from the inside out. And in that second, I was sure that I was witnessing the end of the story. In the late classic, the simple man being brought low, with the powerful and coming out on top. On the Monday following the course, the geniuses toasting with champagne, dear. And the world is continuing on as unjust as possible. I thought to myself, it ended up in here, but I was wrong, because that wasn't the end of the story. It was the most critical of it, and that no man knew it, nor did I, at that moment. The sentence, and said with contempt, was going to be expensive. The way it all began, it felt like I was watching the game today, but that was then. That was the kind of thing, who wants to certainty, destroy reputation, and it makes us powerful to swallow your own life in the public eye. And I'm going to tell you the whole story, from the beginning to the end, because that's all it came to pass at that day, was not only an unexpected turn, there was an earthquake off. And if you will stay with me until the very end, you'll understand why no one who saw the scene was able to look in the mirror the same way again after this. Now, before I go, subscribe to my channel. Here I'll tell you true stories, and heavy on the common person and turning on the game when no one else is waiting. And share this video with someone that has been underestimated, or that you need to remember that you should never judge a person by their appearance. Take a deep breath. For now, I'm going to come back in a few minutes in time. I'll show you how it all began. I'm in the biggest trade fair for the technology of the year, the ones that seem to be on another planet. Have you entered a place like this? The carpet in the dark, swallowing the sound of footsteps, the smell of the plastic new, mixed with the coffee, expensive, and lights, the cold hitting you on the face, giant screens flashing the promises of the future, robots, walking slowly, just to impress the camera, and speakers of English with that smile of trained staff who want to seem more important than it really is. It was an atmosphere that screams one thing, and the whole time, you need to look for someone to be out here. I went out with a simple goal. Simple. Bring a pro channel. What's new? You're going to change the world. Showcase of technology, innovation, trend, and such beautiful words, that the whole world is the same. It's just that the world, he decided to show me something. In the middle of the main hall, where everyone walks fast so as not to seem to be lost, and I've seen it. And when I say I, not just see it, he was feeling it. A man who did not fit in with absolutely nothing there. While everyone else was wearing blazer set, badge, metallic shining on his chest, watches, expensive running shoes that cost more than the minimum wage, he was wearing a simple shirt, the kind that have been washed too many times, a pair of well beaten up. The shoe is worn out and a cap that seemed to have collected more stories than miles. And let me ask you something. How many times have you looked at someone like that? And the brain, and without asking permission, it has already passed judgment. Because it is. His hands. They were the kind of detail that's the one place I pretended not to see it. Calloused hands. The thick, marked by a work that turns into a lecture. I had a post on LinkedIn, and don't turn round of applause. Small scars are old, those who tell the stories that no one there wanted to hear. The hands of those services, the one who carries it. For those who work away from the cameras. But then there was the detail that does not match, his or her eyes. He didn't have to look for a tourist is lost. To have that sparkle child who is seeing the technology for the first time. He's not looking for stuff with a wow. He was looking at it with And you know exactly what means, right? It's the look of those measures. Who can compare? For those who remember. Who recognizes something in the others only pretend to understand. And then he stopped. He stopped in front of a prototype that is protected by a glass panel. With a compact, elegant, full of tubes, pipes, transparent sensors, shining in the silence, and a dashboard full of charts that no one there really knew how to explain it. All the people passed by. It was, take a photo as if it were a trophy, a symbol of status, a proof of who have been there. He did not take the picture. He didn't call anyone else. He was looking at, and I swear to you, it felt like he was talking to him a prototype without having to open your mouth. As if the machine was telling you something that was just for him, as if they had a secret to the rest of the hall was. And then, as if the universe had decided to pull the trigger of the human being, and I heard a voice behind me. Who let this guy go? The phrase came to a low, but full of poison. I turned around slowly, both the exhibitors and Kochichavam, laughing in that way that it is not the risk of mood swings. It's the laugh of contempt. As if that was the funny one, non-standard, take up too much room. And at the same time, I came away with a feeling horrible in my stomach. Do you ever feel that too? The feeling of knowing that something ugly is going to happen to you, and no one will try to stop you. Because right there, in that second, I don't think that the fair was going to show it for the future. She was about to repeat the past, and it's the worst kind in the past. I got to shoot without drawing attention to it. And let me tell you one thing that I learned from my time writing stories on my channel. Are there any scenes that you are only revealed to one who knows how to be quiet? For those who notice more than you speak. For those of you who understand that the most important moment is almost never the case at the stage that happens in the margins. In the booth, it was absurd to be costly. For those that you've visited in the eye and know that you have cost more than many people earn in a year. The screen with 3D animation running in a loop, with a mock-up by turning it slowly as if it were a jewel, a self-lit film, creating a climate of new earth, and a coffee drink is so sophisticated that no one has had the courage to play. It seemed like more of a scenario than a drink. On the other hand, foreign investors are scanning the numbers on the tablets and speaking in a low cold, as if they were deciding on which planet to buy and where to put the money. Have you ever noticed how many people the powerful are rarely seems excited to be? They seem to be bored, even with the earnings pop. The speaker was a young man, confident too. The kind that you learn the half a dozen words out of fashion, and he was reinvented in the world. Disruptive, scale, ecosystem, and he spoke of it to each of the 3 sentences. Ria, on high, he gave a pat to the back of the other, doing the pose at the side of prototype, as if he might be the father of all, as if the machine had been born of the ego in him. And while all this was taking place, and the Lord was still there, still, watch, taking a deep breath, until, that is, he took a step forward, just a single step, but that was all it took. The smile on the system died on the spot, gone, as if someone had turned off a switch. He looked up to the Lord, from the top down, with a contemptuous as simple as tested, you could see. The one to look at had already been used before. Can I help you? He asked. But have you ever noticed when someone asks you a question that is not a question to ask? The voice said, how can I help you? But the tone, say what you're doing here. And the Lord answered him in a calm voice. Low, control, almost respectful of others, prequel the environment. I wanted to see it up close, and if you could, to play, just for a second. And I swear to you, it was as if he was ordering me to shut down the exhibition as a whole. The air was thick. The conversation around them died. A quiet, hard, fell, the kind that makes your heart beat louder. Have you ever felt there was a silence like that? He announces that something is going to go wrong, and so the speaker has decided to turn that into a show. He held up a little bit more of a voice, ensuring that the audience, and let out a sentence that goes all over the world, such as being hit by a club. Here it is not a museum. The laughter came in waves. First of all, close. Once more. After that, general. I've seen people doing just to watch the scene. I saw the phones being raised not to register with the technology, rather than to show off the innovation, but for the record, the humiliation of someone who doesn't fit with the job. And Lord, it was still stopped, absorbing it all, without reacting to it, no apology, without lowering his head, no shrinking. And it started to get to me in a strange way, because let me ask you, how many people do you know that it can be left standing when the whole world is laughing at them? I thought to myself, why is it not going away? Anyone would be. But then came the question that I froze from the inside, the question that changed everything. For what I'm feeling, that he did not come here to beg you. And yes, I collect something that no one has ever noticed it. At the moment, with no one to notice the error he had committed. The only thing missing was for the world to understand it. A laughing stock if it has spread quickly. Way too fast. As if someone had tightened a kill, and then released on a show free of charge with contempt. And do you know what it's like when a man realizes that you can laugh at with no consequences, and the malice turns into entertainment? A guy behind me spoke up, not even bothering to disguise it. They are such curious people believe that technology is a game, even before a sentence to die in the air. And the other added, with a laugh, it is for us to prepare. Not so many people are lost, and I have seen the Lord, and listen, I, because his body reacted, a slight tensing of the shoulders, breathe deep. He microsegundo, in which people decide whether to swallow, or if you are going to respond to. But he didn't look at them. He didn't turn around. He didn't argue. He looked to the prototype. And that's weird. Because in that moment, it seemed as if the rest of the world had disappeared. The laughter, the comments, the looks, all of it was small, closer to the way he was looking at that machine. And then it happened. One thing to be minimal, it almost invisible, but a little bit scary. He bowed his head in a specific way. It was not an act of random. He had to. Determined, as someone who recognizes a single detail out of place. And she murmured, almost imperceptibly, in a voice that was barely out of his mouth, "You still made the mistake." I congelate. For real. Because let me ask you one thing. Those who say to you something that you have just met. It was not the sentence of those who think they are wonderful. It was the sentence of the one who knows you from the inside out. He took a sidestep and went to the eye by the sensors, and, in the end, like if you were giving a list of who is invisible, as if he was checking if it's something that he already knew, he was still there. Then he bent down a little bit. It was observed in the lower part of the product, and for a second, he closed his eyes. For a second, just one. But that was all it took for me to feel that I had a memory of him. Those of you that don't heal, the ones that we try to forget, but the body remembers. The display even realized it. He realized that control was slipping. The Lord was acting like someone is bullied. And when we arrogant to feel that you are not familiar with the situation, and she raises her voice. "Lord, please, please, please," he said, too loud. "If you want to learn, it is announced. It's a business presentation." It was a warning in disguise, with a push on social. "A return to your place." The Lord took a deep breath. I watched his chest rise slowly, as the one who prepares for a fight. "But I tell you of a truth." And then, he said, a phrase that no man was good to hear. "I did not come to learn." A pause. "Enjoy it." Heavy duty. "I have come to confirm it." To confirm. That one word hit me like a punch in the stomach. Because they confirm that it is not interesting. To confirm it for sure. Confirm that this is someone who already knows the answers. And you just need to see with your own eyes. At that moment I realized it wasn't a business at random. It was a settling of accounts. Before this story, go to a point of no return, and I want to take a quick break right here with you. Have you ever witnessed someone being neglected and then turn the game in a way that no one expected? Or worse still, have you ever been that person? Comment here at the bottom of the truth. I've read them all. I want to know if you're with me on this story, because it is now. There is a turning point in common. This is the kind of thing that leaves your floors are missing. The speaker turned away for a moment to attend to a key investor. That was quick. For a second, just one. But have you ever noticed how sometimes a second is all that a man need? And it was at that second that the Lord has stepped up to the glass. I saw his hands tremble slightly, and he was not afraid. It was pure emotion. the ones that make your body respond before the mind is able to explain it. He held his hand out and slowly, as if he were asking for permission for something that wasn't his. 2 fingers touched the glass, exactly on the spot where once stood the sensor is built in. And in that moment, I realized the one thing I shivered. He did not. I was playing just for fun. It was not so much as a hint for those who want to feel the texture of the one who wants to prove that he was there. He was playing like someone who finds something that was lost, as someone who plays for a living remembrance. As to who is the slope of a wound to the former, have you ever felt it at some time? The feeling of seeing something that is yours. But what the world tells you that, don't you? In the crowd, she played it all wrong. Someone whispered loudly, "You will break it." The other laughed, already calling attention to, "Up!" The words that were coming in loaded, with contempt, but you have not responded. He seemed to be out of that noises all around, as if time had slowed down just for him. I walked up to the most, making the heart pounding so hard that I was afraid of a microphone to pick up, because something inside me was saying that I was going to register for a time that is never the same twice. And then he did something even more strange, with a careful, almost ceremonial, and he took it out of his pocket, a string of cloth, old, exhausted by the long, wrapped around his finger. Don't seem to be an ornament, don't seem to be as we age. It looked like a piece of history. The one-piece uniform, old man, a fragment of who he was, before it is forgotten. And let me ask the question, why would anyone keep something like that after so many years that does not mean all of that? It is an example of the string to the window glass. It was at this time that the impossible has happened. On the screen, the prototype, which, until then, I was riding alone in the demo mode. Predictable, beautiful bat. At a time. Both of them. The lounge is full. It seemed to hold their breath. And then, there came a message that I have never seen a shoe for that level. A message that you are not supposed to be there. A message that made you smile and the entire world hang in the face. A maintenance mode. Advanced access detected. My whole body shivered, because it wasn't supposed to happen. It's weird. It's curious. And even less so in an old plane, as they had made an end of call. And when I turned to face it, I saw the display on the other side of the booth. He turned his head slowly, very slowly, as if he had just heard a high, dry, the inside of the pride. And in that moment, I knew for sure. The secret is that they didn't want to see you. Just had to prove to myself. The conversation in the booth, he died. Don't waned. He was not poor. He died. It was as if someone had ripped off the sound in the environment. The laughter had ceased, and the whispering fought. And even the music seemed to be in the wrong, in that silence a burden. The speaker went into a state of panic, ran in the pro panel, almost stumbling, trying to make lay between the Lord and the Lord for the display screen, and shouted, too loud, "Hey guys, don't touch it!" But have you ever noticed when someone else cries out, knowing that you've missed? It was late at night, the prototype that started to change right before our eyes. The lines of code that have emerged where there was good looking, functions, hidden, came in. The sensors have begun to recalibrate their own. It was not a mistake. He was the reply. As if someone had turned on a layer of the secret of the system, a coat that didn't exist until there is. And on the Lord's side, for the Lord will not be moved. He did not smile. Don't celebrate. Don't explain. He just kept watching him. Calm down. Real estate. As a teacher, listening to a song that he wrote. After years and years without being able to listen to it. In the exhibit, each time more and more nervous as he began to push buttons, push in commands, try to switch off the machine. Nothing. They did nothing about it. With the machine off. And so that's how you feel when the weather changes, it's true. You are an executive in a suit of black, which, until then, I watched them from a distance if it came to it. The steps in place. His face closed down. Some people just don't tend to get up in the deep end. He looked to the panel, and blanched. I saw the blood away from his face. I was able to listen to it. Almost by accident, he whispers, That's not, it's in the manual. This is the sentence. This sentence is terrible when it comes to someone powerful. Because let me ask you, what happens when the one who is in charge realizes that you've lost control? The executive turned pro is the Lord, Your tone is completely different. Had no contempt here. I had to exercise due diligence. I was afraid. Where did you find that key? And the Lord stirred up the look at a slow pace. She looked straight into his eyes, and he answered, with a quiet that crushed all over world around. I did not. A short pause. I did. It was as if someone had plucked out of the air in the room. I have seen a woman take your hand to your mouth in shock. An investor has dropped the glass on the floor without even realizing it. Someone behind me muttered a curse word in the other language, and then came the most ridiculous of them all. The executive pulled out his cell phone, walked away from the 2 steps, and it made for a connection to close. For those without a rodeo. No smiley face, no other explanation. Less than 5 minutes later, 2 people came in. The folders of the black in his hands, badges of law. The faces of those who did not come to negotiate came to contain the damage. An agreement appeared close on the top of the table of the booth, as if you were already in place before anything happens. And I heard the number, it said in a low voice. The almost whispered. Like if you were forbidden to talk about it in public. 3,900,000 euro. I saw the stand looking at the contract, as if he were staring at a ghost. All of the stuff that he was in control. It was not for him. And on the Lord's side? It has not been kind, Don said. Don held out his hand. He just asked a question. A simple question. To slow down. Surgery. You guys are going to be using it the right way. A pause. Or the way that you always wear. The question was left hanging in the air. Elegant. Threatening. And in that moment, I understood that it's something that you are starting to understand it now. That it was never about the money. I never was a contract. I never went on the stage. It was about a wound, the old one. For those who all the time is not close, it only hides it. The fair is the whole of it seemed to have shut down. Not only is the sound, not only does the background music, but that's the ego. It was as if the one lounge, the giant had been set to pause at the exact moment that the speaker has lost control of the narrative. The people were looking up. The cameras were all around. The microphones to estacavam the top of the shoulders. The security was trying to keep a bit of distance from it, but no one seemed to know exactly who was supposed to bring us closer together. Because all of a sudden, no one there, I was sure of whom to believe. The speaker tried to explain, stammering. Help. I don't know. I swear I had no idea. But have you ever noticed how no one listens to those who just fall out of the stand? No one was really listening to him. Her eyes were fixed on the Lord. And I was broken from the inside out. Part of me wanted to scream right there and then, in the midst of the chaos, quiet. Who are you? But the other part was afraid of the answer. Because it has been made in a way that was strange. Some of the engineers at the older, who by then were in the bottom of the booth, away from the confusion. And they were completely immobile. Hard. As someone who sees you for a name to take shape. As someone who can recognize a face, it would be only a memory. They didn't say a word about it. Don pointed out. No comment. But the body of them, he handed it all. And let me ask you, have you ever seen someone you recognize as a legend, to live in, without having to say a word or two? It was then that I decided to go. The noise around seemed to be far away, as if I had been under the water's surface. I got close to the Lord and said, almost in a whisper, as he who asks for a license to play in a story that is too big, Sir, what's your name? He looked me up and down, and for a second, just a second, then I saw something that doesn't fit with the power of that moment in time. Sad. A sad old place. Tired. For those who have come from those who have already been wiped off most of the time. He took a deep breath and said some of the things that you saw in me. This is what they get from people when you're not serving the pro stage. I have gone through. And then he added, his voice steady but low. But I was called Hadrian's Valence. I repeated the name, as those who try to save something that is important. Adriano Valencia. And that's when one of the lawyers, bent over executive, and whispered something in his ear. I didn't hear anything, but I've heard enough of it. Checked. This is it. The executive, and swallowed it dry. Literally. And then you let out a sentence that no one there wanted to hear. But that said it all. If this leaks out, the company collapses. He falls. It's that simple. I felt a chill through the spine. Because, let me make you an honest question right now. How many of the ideas of the giants you think you have been buried for the sake of looks, money, or ego? Comment below yes or no, and tell me why. Because of that, I found out later that day, he made me lose sleep. Until now, everyone believed that the prototype was the only innovation is to be beautiful. However, when the screen was so advanced, and the truth came out, it was not a test for the people to be rich. It was not a problem girl. It was a system for the filtration and purification of water with a minimal energy consumption. Is ideal for working in rural areas, places and forgotten, and the communities in which no one visits. And the parts are cheap and easy to repair. An engineer, he explained in a loud voice, and without wanting to, that it could save you, thousands of them. And then came the shock. The person in the booth, he answered quickly, "Don't speak like that. Like if you were forbidden to talk to save. As for the word human impact is a marketing problem." The Lord, the Brazilian, and he looked around and said, "I drew this, so I don't rely on the government, NGOs, and of the promise. I have designed for anyone to ride. No asking for permission." The executive retorted, trying to keep your cool. "The market doesn't work that way." And the Lord replied with a calm that you cut the more they scream. "I know. That's why I'm wiped out." I felt the ground fall away, because it wasn't just about the technology, it was on the power. And now I'm talking directly to you, from the bottom of my heart. If you subscribe to the channel right now, because in this story, it's not just entertainment, it's the kind of thing that will open your eyes. And when I get to the end, you'll understand why I'm asking you this is so hard, if you sign up. For real. Because in the end, it's the kind of ending that changed the way we see people. The media has come as a swarm, and so it came to pass, one of the more surreal than I've ever vi. A reporter pulled out the cell phone, and he said, "To live in, we found the old records, in an article from years ago, with this face." He turned to the screen for the camera. I vi. A video of the old, low quality, with a younger man, no the white hair, but the look is firm, in the same Adriano. In the video, it was a prototype that looks like a lab, simple, with peeling walls and equipment and devices, IEDs. And in the corner of the video, the logo of the company, which is now said to be the mistress of it all. And then, as if that was not enough, he appeared in an interview with the former. Someone said, "The project has been shut down due to lack of commercial viability." The lack of commercial viability. I almost laughed nervously because I don't think that's what it meant. They had seen something extremely powerful, and they had to be killed, just that no one expected. It was the Lord's return. And then there was the sentence that had destroyed the standby. Hadrian pointed out to the pro's prototype and said, "You do not purchase I want to make. You bought them for my silence." Silence. The word was heavy, and it was only then that I realized that this string of cloth that he used to, he was not an amulet. It would be a piece of the old Ide, the one-piece uniform, one piece of evidence. The organizers of the fair, trying to put out the fire, and announced an immediate change. From now on, we're going to create an area of ongoing social projects. The impact is real. Everyone applauded and cheered. I've seen things that no human being has seen. I have to hurry. The pressure to look good. The race for control of the narrative before it can explode. And then it happened. The one thing that gave me chills. One of the lawyers tried to take it to Adriano for a private room, away from the cameras. As someone who tries to put up a secret back in the drawer, I came around the corner and I have heard, by accident, a phrase is whispered. "We can resolve this problem as last time." Like the last time. I don't know if you're in the understanding of the size of it. The last time, it means that, I've had this happen before. It means that it's the story of Hadrian was not just an isolated case. It was a pattern. And I've seen Hadrian stop looking at the lawyer and said, No, this time, it's going to be the way that you are afraid." He turned pro in the main hall, where the people were, and you spoke up for everyone. "I don't want you just for money. I want my name is, and I want it to reach where it needs to go. The fair is the whole of it was change it again. And now, I want you to know you. What would you do if you found out anything that's a large company, blacked out for someone to make a profit? Comment below. Do you think that money solves? Or is it justice? It's something else. I'm going to read and respond to all the comments on the Stronger for it. Right now, I need to tell you about the part that I have in my hand here. Because I love you, and I promised that I was going to give everything away at the end, and I'm going to keep. When the crowd dispersed a little bit, the Brazilian left, walking as if I wasn't running away. But it's as if you were closing a circle. I was in the back, not as a reporter. How to be a human being. I caught him just off to the side, away from the noise. And I said to him, "Hadrian, why did you come back now? Why are you in today?" He paused. He looked at me, and for the first time, but his voice failed him. For yesterday, in the water, he killed someone I loved. I caught him. It was not that he had died in a way. That's generic. It was a phrase, heavy duty, straight through with no embellishment. I'm not going to go into detail because that's not the point. The important thing is, what does this sentence mean? That wasn't on the stage. It was on a matter of urgency. He went on to say, "I was for years been trying to open the door. And every door, asking me to tell you one thing. I became the character. What do I put on the right clothes? You don't want beautiful place." I would be smiling for the pictures. He took a deep breath, staring at the floor. I grew tired of it. I've been away. I went back to where I started. And so, when I saw this, I don't think that it was impossible to stay quiet for a while. I felt her eyes burning. And then there was the revelation that no one was expecting. He hadn't gone to the fair, by the way. He didn't really know where the prototype would have been. He didn't really know how to turn on the stealth mode. He didn't really know what that would cause. Because according to him, some months before, he had received an anonymous message with a picture of the prototype and a quote. "They are going to release it as a product of luxury, and you're going to erase you again." That phrase has been put on. It was for this reason that it comes. It was for this reason that he endured the humiliation in silence. It was for this reason that he had long waited for the lack of display. He wasn't there to beg you. He went to the US to bunk. And so, in the end, the strongest of them all. And I said, "And the money out of the deal?" He looked at me as if I had asked the wrong question. "Money to purchase what they are looking for. I want them to fear you." "What do they fear you?" I asked him. And he answered and said, "I can teach it for free." It was only then that I began to understand it. The shock of that day. It was not for sale. It was the threat of a release. The technology is out of control. And now I'm talking to you, looking you in the eye by this narration. If this story took you out, if at some point you have felt anger, a lump in the throat, or the desire to see justice, and so do 3 things right now, because this helps a lot the channel, and help these stories reach more people. If you subscribe to the channel, and if you've read this far, you're the kind who likes stories that open the mind. Share this video with someone who keeps saying, "Don't judge by appearance," but it is sometimes forgotten that in practice. Leave your like, for I know that you want more of the stories that the footprint, and you and I will bring the other, which is even more awesome. And I'll go one step further. Comment down one thing that's related to the theme, because I want to turn this into a real conversation. Have you ever seen a man be deleted, or does not have the profile, right? Do you think that the technology that was supposed to be free, when it can save lives? What was the biggest upset that you have ever seen in your life? I'm going to fix all the comments on the Stronger for it. And before I end this, and I have to tell you, have a history of showing up on the screen right now. It is a story that begins with a lie is a small, and ends up with a fact that is too big to be hidden from view. Click to watch right now. I'll see you there.